Boruto episode 134 review. Alright guys, this episode was definitely a very good episode. It was frustrating, it was happy, it was hyped, it was boring, it was all of that, all bundled in one. And of course I definitely do want to get into that. Now the first thing I do want to talk about it, I was so mad about how much Sasuke was getting disrespected throughout this whole episode. Like, this is a top 5 shinobi of all time completely getting disrespected by a random Otsutsuki member. Sasuke shouldn't be getting disrespected like this. Now starting off with Urashiki just standing directly on Sasuke's shoulders, and he was so weak that he couldn't even get up. I was super pissed off by that. Now coming into this episode, we understood that there was going to be a certain situation or a certain scene when Urashiki and Sasuke fell off of a cliff, and you guys should understand that from the spoilers that we have read. And of course, if you guys haven't, I'm disappointed. But regardless, we understood that that was going to happen. Now, in my opinion, I thought that something very good was going to happen. This is one of the boring points in the episode that I didn't really like. All Sasuke really did to get Urashiki to fall off of the cliff was he bear hugged him and then drove him back off of the cliff. Now, in my opinion, I thought this should have been a very, very good scene. I thought that Sasuke was going to be like, hey, I'm going to take the bullet for you guys. I'm going to sacrifice my own life. It's going to be like a long speech, just a very emotional moment where Sasuke pretty much just sacrifices himself and ends up not dying at the end to save everybody else. But it was more of like an amateur, all right, you guys go ahead. We came here to save Naruto. And then he just bear hugged Urashiki and pushed him off of the cliff. Now, don't get me wrong, the plot point still got the job done, but I thought it should have been more. And even what happened just seems unrealistic to me. Like, let's be honest. Urashiki stands on Sasuke's shoulders. Sasuke doesn't have enough energy to stand up, but regardless, Sasuke has enough energy to push Urashiki off of a cliff. But also, Urashiki had the ability to possibly use an almighty push, to possibly use a jutsu to get Sasuke off of him. And not only that, after he fell off of the cliff, Urashiki had the ability to fly, and I didn't know why Urashiki did not want to fly. Now, some of you guys might say that Urashiki can't necessarily fly with some excess weight, and I could understand that, but let's be honest, like, thinking practically, this is an Otsutsuki member we're talking about, an Otsutsuki member that can fly. We've seen Inoki stop a meteor from Madara. He flew with much more than the 100 kilograms that Sasuke probably weighs. He probably even weighs less than that, and this just goes directly back to the lack of creativity and the writers that we have been seeing for a very long time throughout this arc. And it's not just this situation, it's a lot of other situations that we did see in previous episodes, but I'm not going to harp on that. I'm not necessarily going to cry over spilled milk, even though I've been doing that for the past 2 minutes. Into the next thing, Urashiki coming into this episode, we understand that he was going to have a very specific ability that we couldn't necessarily understand. Now, what was being said was that he can see into the future. Previous videos that I did make, I kind of thought that was BS. I thought that it was a farce, but it seems like that's kind of real. He can actually kind of see into the future, which was definitely a surprise to me. Now, the ability goes like this. He can pretty much understand and interpret attacks before they happen, replay the exact scenario in his head, so he can pretty much find the perfect move to evade that exact technique or that exact attack that came after him. Now, the person that figured this all out was Jiraiya. Now, I have to give big props to Jiraiya in this episode, mainly because when we think about Jiraiya, we don't necessarily think of him being the smartest character of the group or the smartest character in Naruto, but it seems like he was that for this episode. Now, I do want to say, it's not like Jiraiya is completely stupid. It's not like Jiraiya is like a Naruto or anything like that. We understood that Jiraiya had a certain level of intelligence, but it just wasn't at the level of other characters, for example, Itachi, for example, Shikamaru. Now, in this particular situation, he acted like Itachi or Shikamaru because all he understood was that blood on Urashiki's cloak was drying up fast. Now, of course, Naruto and Boruto brought that up, but Jiraiya pretty much dissected it in a matter of like 20 seconds. He pretty much told everybody, like, yo, there's 3 possibilities. He's either giving off heat, he's using a lot of wind, or he's pretty much stopping time. And that right there was just super impressive from a character like Jiraiya. Now, as I said, that's not necessarily anything too groundbreaking. I expected from characters like Sasuke, Itachi, or Shikamaru, but from Jiraiya, that's impressive. Now, I do want to point out, throughout this episode, Urashiki was being super lazy and he was being super playful, like he always is. Now, I really thought that Urashiki was going to come and taking this seriously, mainly because over the past times, him being playful actually messed him up. This happened versus Boruto and Shinken when he was playing with them and then got a Rasengan to his stomach, And the same exact thing happened right here. Now in this situation, we understood that Urashiki was trying to show off an ability that we haven't seen previously, and because of that, he got away from his bread and butter, and of course what really makes Urashiki Urashiki. The first thing that I do want to point out is that, similar to the last episode, a lot of time elapsed to where he could have possibly just grabbed Naruto and went to a different dimension. When he uses the red Rinnegan, he could pretty much do time space ninjutsu, or he could pretty much teleport. He could have grabbed Naruto and teleported like, I don't know, like 500 miles away, and then took off Naruto's seal right then and there. But he didn't do that. Why? I have no idea. He pretty much stayed with his blue Rinnegan, tried to show off his ability, tried to be like this hotshot Otsutsuki member, and we all understand that Urashiki is not necessarily the strongest, he's not really the fastest, he's really all technique at this point. There was a situation right after Urashiki got up, after being pushed off the cliff by Sasuke. He could have used his Byakugan, seen Sasuke, and absolutely killed Sasuke right then and there, but he didn't do that. And I think back to another character, for example, Momoshiki Otsutsuki. What would Momoshiki Otsutsuki do in that exact same situation right there? Momoshiki wouldn't be playing with Sasuke. Momoshiki would have used his Byakugan, found Sasuke, clapped him in a matter of 30 seconds, and also eliminated Sakura as well. Now, the most frustrating time when Urashiki was being lax and he was trying to show off was when Jiraiya pretty much put him in the toad's belly. He couldn't really use the blue Rinnegan to recreate time to get out of the toad's belly, even though I think that he wasn't even going to try to do that. I think Urashiki was just going to try and stay there and just show off his blue Rinnegan, mainly because if he would have switched to his red Rinnegan, he could have used a teleportation or a time space ninjutsu to get out of the toad's belly. But he didn't do that. Why didn't he do that? I have no idea. And again, this is just scenarios of how Urashiki isn't necessarily taking it serious. And of course, why would he take it serious? He's fighting against mortals. It's getting Urashiki in a lot of trouble, and he still isn't learning from it. This is possibly one of the reasons why he's not considered to be as strong or as respected as a character like Momoshiki Otsutsuki. Another glaring thing that I have been noticing about Urashiki, Urashiki knows a lot of special abilities, and Urashiki knows a lot of great things, but he doesn't know the basics of the Rinnegan. Now, I do want to point out, a Rinnegan is much like the Mangekyo Sharingan, where once you get the Rinnegan, you have the set abilities of the Rinnegan, but also you have abilities that are tailored to your specific Rinnegan. Now, specifically for Urashiki, the ability that's tailored to his Rinnegan, the blue Rinnegan specifically, is of course him quote-unquote seeing into the future, and also him disappearing. Like, he has this disappearing act where butterflies show up afterwards. And just for some other examples with the Rinnegan, Madara has the limbo clones, and of course Sasuke has the teleportation. But here's the thing, the regular Rinnegan abilities are absolutely insane. We understand that from the 6 paths of pain, and he just never used any of those abilities. For example, he didn't use the almighty push, he didn't absorb any chakra, and those main 2 abilities right there would have absolutely saved them in multiple occasions. He could have pushed Sasuke away from pushing him off of the cliff, and at the end of the episode, he could have possibly absorbed the Rasengan that Naruto was using to pretty much knock out Urashiki, and Urashiki just didn't use any of that. Now, I did get ahead of myself a tiny bit, but at the end of the episode, Urashiki pretty much got knocked out by Naruto. We understand that Boruto has this ability where you could pretty much use the Boruto stream, or in this situation now we call it the Naruto stream. Surprisingly, this ability has been very strong from the very beginning. He even hit Momoshiki, like final form Momoshiki, with an ability similar to this. This is one of the fastest abilities that Boruto has in his arsenal, period. And of course, we've seen that on display against Urashiki. Now, I pointed out, Urashiki could have definitely absorbed the chakra from Naruto. Now, in this particular situation, a lot of you guys might say that he was compromised because of the acid from the toad. Urashiki still had the ability to use his Rinnegan. Now, it could have been a possibility where the acid pretty much reduced all the chakra that was inside of Urashiki, but it didn't necessarily say that. Jiraiya didn't necessarily point that out, and I was really confused about that. But also a big storyline throughout this episode is, of course, Sasuke and Sakura. Now, we understand that Sakura understands that she pretty much has to ask Sasuke about the note that she did see, and of course it did say Sasuke on it. But the thing about this particular situation, which is very good, is that Sasuke is knocked out, so she can't really ask Sasuke about anything too crazy. But we understand that this is going to present a very awkward situation for a character like Sasuke, man, because he's going to feel that emotional attachment to Sakura. Now, even though he pretty much thinks of this Sakura as being completely annoying, he's probably still going to feel a need to possibly tell her the truth about Sasuke. Not him being Sasuke, but the real Sasuke. Now, in my opinion, I think that Sasuke would never do something like that, but the writers are setting it up for Sasuke to spill something out to Sakura, and hopefully Sasuke passes the test. But I do want to know what you guys think about this episode in the comment section below. There was a whole lot of things to unpack about this episode. Of course, as I said, it was boring, it was exciting, it was a whole bunch of emotions wrapped into one, and of course, the next episode of Boruto is going to be the big bad final episode, and of course, the next form of Urashiki Otsutsuki. But it's me, your boy Baara B, and we out.
Check my clock, I can't stop. Fuck around, make my 40 pop. No popcorn, I pop pistols. Reaming my body, clothing no issue. Bitch, you look sick, you need a tissue. You drop a body, I just might bless you. I'm metrosexual, no high cholesterol. Wedge any crib, bitch, just get sexual.